Hey Doc, what are we going to talk about today?
Pet tailgating.
What do you mean pet tailgating?
Well, families wake up on Saturday morning and they don these goofy hats, all this paraphernalia, and they load it into their RV, their van, their car, along with the barbecue pit, and travel all that distance to their favorite university that they're alumnus from or that they've adopted to be alumnus from. And then when I say the family, I'm talking about mom and dad and the kids and grandma and grandpa and aunts and uncles and neighborhood friends. They all go. But guess what? If we're talking about family, 80% of the people that have pets say pets are part of their family. So now pets join them on the trip and it becomes pet tailgating.
Does pet tailgating occur only at the stadium?
No, pet tailgating also occurs at home for friends and neighbors and for rowdy people that don't want to travel a long distance to the stadium but still want that same experience.
Doc, what if you're coming by boat to the tailgate?
Oh, that's really an exciting one too because certain stadiums like the University of Washington, that's what they do. They tailgate on the boats. So that is so exciting and it's such a great scene to look at. But don't forget, they're on water. The pets need a life preserver.
If your pet is tagging along with you to the tailgate, what necessities do you need to have with your pet?
They need to have identification. Make sure that they have a microchip. Make sure that they have a picture that day of your pet. So in case it does happen to wander off, that you'll have that information to provide whoever finds the pet for you and brings it back. They also can have trackers, which are very helpful. And in addition to that, they can have vests or collars that have the name of you as the pet owner with your telephone number. Have clean bowls, fresh food, fresh dog food, and fresh water, along with their medical records, including their vaccination.
Doc, you mentioned dog food and water. We can't feed them from our barbecue?
Oh my goodness sakes. That's if you want GI tract problems, if you want them throwing up and having diarrhea, that's exactly what you want to do is feed them from the barbecue. Of course not. You should have the same guidelines at the tailgate as you have on the July 4th barbecue. Remember, it's just the pet's dog food and the pet's water on that particular day. Which really brings up other things that are important too, because there are other crazy people just like you at the tailgate and they're visiting and they're rowdy and they have their own food. And as they come by, don't let them give their food as a treat to your pet. Just remind everybody that your pet needs its own dog food and treats only by itself.
Doc, a lot of us feel like weekend warriors when we go to the game. What are some safety tips for our pets?
I'm glad you said weekend warriors because you know how badly we feel on Monday morning. If our pet doesn't chase the frisbee every day, isn't running around every day, but at the tailgate party, it's running around crazy, it's not going to feel well on Monday morning, or even worse, could have problems with knees like the cranial cruciate ligament or had real bad muscle problems. Sounds like a trip to the vet.
What are some hazards that we should be aware of at the stadium?
Well, don't forget, lots of times you're using charcoal, so that's hot. You want to make sure that that's taken away so that the pets don't walk on it and injure themselves. Or if some people are careless and they break glass, which you should never bring to tailgating. But what about all your friends that stop by, the other tailgaters, and they bring by their own food and maybe they want to give a little treat to your pet? Please do not allow them to do that. Remind them that you really don't want them to be ill and have that vomiting issue or that GI tract problem with the diarrhea. Ugh, it's just awful. And then again, it's another visit with the vet on Monday morning.
Doc, what are some ways the weather could affect our pet tailgating?
Really a good question because it can be either very cold or very warm, like it is at this time of the year, where it's very warm. So people might think about leaving their pet in the RV, or they might think about leaving it with the van, where they have the generator keeping the AC going. Uh-uh. Don't do that. It's impossible for you to come and save your pet if you're in the stadium, to come back and save your pet if that happens to break down. So consequently, somebody has to be like the designated driver. They have to be the designated pet monitor, and they can watch the ball game from the TV. And in addition to that, they can have libation ready for you when you return.
Any warnings specific as a veterinarian that you want to put out
Yes,
there?
please, I must warn you this. Please don't allow your pet to become ill or injured between 12 and 5 on Saturday, because veterinarians are the most fanatical fans of their college football, and they probably won't be available only between the hours earlier before 12 and the hours after 5. Oh, and please remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And if you have any questions, please place it in the comments section, and we may use it on next week's episode.